Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Cyclone Ditwah inches closer to India's southern coastline after leaving a trail of destruction in Sri Lanka, leaving 193 people dead and hundreds missing. Death toll in Hong Kong's deadly apartment fires climbs to 146 after more bodies are found in the apartment complex. Ukrainian delegation heads to the United States for peace talks after the lead negotiators exit. President Zelensky hopes for a dignified end to the conflict. And India in cruise control against South Africa in the opening ODI of the three-match series underway in Ranchi. Rohit Sharma goes past Shahid Afridi in hitting most ODI sixes. So first, updates of Cyclone Ditwah. The cyclone exited Sri Lanka, but its aftermath left devastating results with 193 people confirmed dead and 228 still remain missing, according to the Disaster Management Center. Massive flooding and landslides have affected nearly 1 million people, leaving over 104,000 homeless in shelters. Flood alerts continue for Kelani and Mahaveli rivers, while 206 roads, 10 bridges and several rail lines are damaged. Power crews are restoring electricity. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake has declared a state of emergency to respond to the widespread devastation. The death toll stands at 193 people dead and 228 missing. The Disaster Management Center said over 7.74 lakh people across 25 districts have been affected, while over a lakh are sheltered in 798 relief centers. Search and rescue operations are continuing despite heavy rain, damaged road networks, prolonged disruptions to power and communication lines. Meanwhile, India has begun repatriating its citizens stranded in Sri Lanka, with the High Commission of India in Colombo coordinating evacuation flights by the Indian Air Force and commercial operators. India has significantly expanded its humanitarian operations in Sri Lanka under Operation Sagar Bandhu as Cyclone Ditwah's aftermath continues to trigger severe flooding and landslides. Earlier on Saturday, 2 Indian Air Force aircraft brought in 21 tons of relief supplies, and 80 National Disaster Response Force personnel now deployed to Puttalam and Badula, among the hardest hit regions, saving over 40 lives. From INS Vikrant, 2 Chetak helicopters have joined Sri Lankan Air Force teams in search and rescue missions, completing multiple sorties to pull stranded residents to safety. In the evening, 2 Mi-17 V5 helicopters arrived in Sri Lanka with essential humanitarian assistance and disaster relief cargo to reinforce the effort. Further, an Indian Air Force C-130J aircraft landed in Colombo at 10 a.m. Indian Standard Time on Sunday, carrying NDRF relief material. The same aircraft will evacuate stranded Indian citizens on its return flight. Meanwhile, India's weather agency issued a red alert for the northern part of India's southern state, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and adjoining south of Andhra Pradesh coasts. This comes as cyclonic storm Ditwah intensifies over the southwest Bay of Bengal. On Sunday morning, the storm was around 100 kilometers east-southeast of Cuddalore and 180 kilometers south-southeast of Chennai, with the core just 70 kilometers from the coast. Ditwah is moving northwards at 12 kilometers per hour, remaining parallel and very close, between 30 to 60 kilometers to the Tamil Nadu-Puducherry coastline through this evening. A red alert is in effect for Tiruvallur and Ranipet districts, while Chennai, Kanchipuram and Chengalpattu are under orange alert. In Chennai presently, no rainfall has been reported. However, in Delta districts, thousands of hectares of paddy fields have been submerged. Authorities have advised residents in coastal and low-lying areas to remain vigilant. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation in his 128th edition of his monthly radio program, Mann Ki Baat, on Sunday. During the program, Prime Minister Modi highlighted the inauguration of the world's largest LEAP engine maintenance, repair and overhaul MRO facility and the induction of Indian Navy's newest anti-submarine warfare ship INS Mahe. Further, in the program, he urged citizens to celebrate festivals with the spirit of vocal for local, with Christmas and New Year shopping beginning soon. Prime Minister emphasized on buying only what is made in India and selling only what carries the hard work of fellow Indians.
मुझे खुशी है कि वोकल फॉर लोकल की भावना को देश के करोड़ों लोगों ने अपने जीवन का हिस्सा बना लिया है। इस साल जब आप त्योहारों की खरीदारी के लिए बाजार में गए होंगे, तो एक बात आप सभी ने महसूस की होगी, लोगों की पसंद और घरों में आने वाले सामानों में एक साफ संकेत दिखाई दे रहा था कि देश स्वदेशी की ओर लौट रहा है। लोग अपने मन से भारतीय उत्पादों को चुन रहे थे। इस बदलाव को छोटे से छोटे दुकानदार ने भी महसूस किया। इस बार युवाओं ने भी वोकल फॉर लोकल अभियान को गति दी। आने वाले कुछ दिन में क्रिसमस और नए वर्ष पर खरीदारी का नया दौर शुरू होने वाला है। मैं आपको फिर याद दिलाऊंगा, वोकल फॉर लोकल का मंत्र याद रखें। खरीदें वही जो देश में बना हो, बेचे वही जिसमें किसी देशवासी की मेहनत लगी हो।
The Union government convened a key meeting on Sunday with leaders from 36 political parties to prepare for the upcoming winter session of Parliament beginning Monday. The meeting was chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and convened by Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju. Held in the New Delhi's Parliament House complex, the session is set to begin from December 1st and run until December 19th. It will feature 15 sittings and 14 legislative items. Tentative bills include the Jan Vishwas Amendment, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment and Higher Education Commission of India Bill, alongside supplementary demands for grants. Party leaders voiced concerns and pledged full cooperation for smooth proceedings. On to other international updates. Ukrainian negotiators are due to hold talks in the United States on Sunday on Washington's plan to end the conflict with Russia, with Kiev facing pressure on both the military and political fronts. The Ukraine team, now led by Rustem Umerov, is due to meet U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Florida on Sunday. Washington has put forward a plan to end the more than 3-year-old conflict that is seeking to finalize with Moscow and Kiev's approval. An initial 28-point proposal drafted without inputs from Ukraine's European allies would have seen Kiev withdraw from its eastern Donetsk region and the United States de facto recognizing the Donetsk, Crimea and Luhansk regions as Russian. So as Russia advances on the front line, its forces targeted Ukraine's capital and the region for 2 nights in a row ahead of the talks in the United States. A drone attack in the outskirts of Kiev killed 1 person and wounded 11 on Saturday night. The latest attack followed a Russian drone and missile attack on Friday night that killed 3 people and left hundreds of thousands across Ukraine without power. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian security source said that Kiev was responsible for attacks on 2 oil tankers in the Black Sea that it believed were covertly transporting sanctioned Russian oil. Further, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will visit French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris on Monday as the Ukrainian leader finds himself in the most difficult political and military situation. The LSE Palace, in a statement, said that the 2 leaders will discuss the conditions of a just and durable peace following talks in Geneva and the US peace plan. Zelensky was last in Paris on November the 17th. More from Europe. British Finance Minister Rachel Reeves on Sunday denied that she misled the public over official forecasts ahead of this month's budget, saying she had been honest about the need to build up a bigger fiscal buffer. In a speech on November 4th, Reeves appeared to lay the groundwork to break the Labour Party's promise to voters before the 2024 election and raise income tax rates citing a weaker than previously thought productivity performance. In a letter publicized on Friday, the head of Britain's budget watchdog said that it had previously provided the government with forecasts showing that its productivity downgrade was offset by increases in real wages and inflation, which Reeves did not mention. The opposition Conservative Party said that Reeves should resign for misleading the public about the economic situation ahead of a November 26th budget. Switzerland is voting on Sunday on two national proposals that have sparked wide debate across the Alpine nation. The first proposal seeks to replace the current men-only military draft with compulsory civic duty for both men and women. The second proposal calls for imposition of a 50% inheritance tax on fortunes over 50 million Swiss francs, raising billions for climate action. Recent polls show neither measure is likely to pass, but both have drawn strong views across the country. The government and parliament are urging voters to reject both these proposals, warning that they would be very costly and could harm the Swiss economy. Kyrgyzstan began voting on Sunday in a snap parliamentary election that featured no formal parties or opposition and that critics say will cement the power of President Sadir Japarov. Polling stations opened at 8 in the morning local time. Only one party is contesting seats, down from 16 in 2020 after electoral reforms weakened party roles. So voters will elect 90 lawmakers, including at least 30 women. Recent arrests of 10 opponents and curbs on media freedom have drawn concern. Japarov, in power since 2020, praised electronic voting as a safeguard against coup while campaigning amid an ongoing energy crisis and strong Russian influence. On to the Caribbean now. U.S. Navy vehicles patrolled southern Puerto Rico as the United States increased pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government. President Donald Trump said that the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela should be considered closed in its entirety. In a statement, Venezuela's government condemned Trump's comments, describing them as a colonialist threat against the South American country's sovereignty and incompatible with international law. The Trump administration has been weighing Venezuela-related options to combat what it has portrayed as Maduro's role in supplying illegal drugs that have killed Americans. The socialist Venezuelan president has denied having any links to the illegal drug trade. Trump has also authorized covert CIA operations in the country. Northwards, 4 people were killed and 10 wounded in a shooting at a family gathering in California Saturday night, with police calling it a targeted attack. The shooting took place inside a banquet hall in Stockton, northeast of San Francisco. Police said the victims, who ranged from juveniles to adults, were taken to local hospitals, adding that information on the shooting was limited. Authorities are investigating into the matter but have not provided any details about the shooter. Information remains limited. However, early indications suggest that this may be a targeted incident. And next we take a look at what else is making news around the world. Pope Leo XIV visited the Armenian Apostolic Cathedral in Istanbul, greeting the faithfuls before leaving for Beirut. He joined Patriarch Sahak II in leading prayers and thanked him for the warm welcome during the visit. Pope Leo will travel to Lebanon on Sunday, where he is expected to appeal for peace in the country. A recently rediscovered 17th century painting by Flemish master Peter Paul Rubens, Christ on the Cross, depicting Jesus with cavalry and Jerusalem in the background, will be auctioned in France. Valued at up to $2.34 million, the work reflects Rubens' Catholic faith during the Counter-Reformation era. It was found in a private Paris mansion. And a new restaurant in Dubai is drawing attention for introducing what it calls the world's first AI chef, adding another futuristic touch to a city known for its tech ambitions. The AI, named Ayman, is behind several dishes on the menu, with the standout creation being a dinosaur tartare, which the owners proudly highlight as its signature experiment. You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. Refuting the rumors about Imran Khan's death, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf lawmaker says Imran is alive but is being pressurized to leave Pakistan. And tropical storm deaths cross 500 in Southeast Asia, over 4 million affected.
For the longest time, we treated the Earth's resources as endless. But now the real challenge is to rethink how we use what we already have, because how we manage the environment's resources will dictate our chances of survival.
He applied finely crushed basalt rock on 2 of his 4 fields and says the difference is clear to see.
It's like a window of opportunity. For every hour we are working with this project.
The pumped groundwater is first filtered. Then it goes into a tank and is filtered again. After that, it is collected in this tank where people can access it.
We have been making handicrafts from banana plants for quite some time now. Currently, we produce around 30 products.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Refuting rumors about Imran Khan's death, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI Senator Khurram Zishan informed that the former Pakistan Prime Minister is alive and currently lodged in Adiala jail. He added that Imran Khan is being kept in isolation as a tactic to pressurize him into leaving Pakistan. Senator Khurram, who is affiliated with Imran Khan's party, said that the regime in the country is threatened and scared of Imran Khan's popularity, which is why they have not allowed any pictures or videos of him to be released. Earlier this week, several social media handles from Afghanistan claimed that Imran was murdered inside Rawalpindi's Adiala jail. The rumours have coincided with the Pakistani authorities not allowing Imran's sisters to meet him for the past 3 months, despite court orders.
रूमर्स जो उनके बारे में फैलाई गई थी उनका हमें कम से कम इतना बताया गया, गारंटी दी गई है कि ही इज फाइन, ही इज इन अडियाला एंड ही इज ओके, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
The death toll in the Hong Kong high-rise Inferno has climbed to 146 as recovery teams push deeper into the burnt-out towers of Wang Fuk Court. Police say more bodies were found as the disaster victim identification unit widened its search to 3 additional buildings.
As of 4 p.m. this afternoon, the latest number of fatalities has risen to 146. We do not rule out the possibility that the death toll may continue to rise.
Meanwhile, Hong Kong is observing 3 days of mourning with flags lowered and public events toned down as families wait for news of loved ones still missing. Support centres have been set up to help families identify victims and receive emotional and practical assistance as the city confronts one of its deadliest disasters in decades. In Indonesia, the death toll from floods and landslides triggered by prolonged cyclonic rains in Sumatra has risen to 417. Around 80,000 residents have been evacuated, while hundreds remain stranded in 3 provinces. Helicopters are delivering aid as landslides have severed roads and communication lines, particularly in North Sumatra. Military reinforcements will arrive on Sunday to assist relief efforts. In southern Thailand, across the Malacca Strait, flooding has claimed 162 lives. Torrential rains linked to a rare tropical storm in the region have affected Indonesia, Malaysia and Thailand for over a week. Rescue and recovery operations continue in both the countries. The 8th edition of India-UK Joint Military Exercise, Ajay Warrior 2025, concluded on Sunday at the Mahajan Field firing ranges in Rajasthan. Over the past 2 weeks, 240 personnel from the Indian Army's Sikh Regiment and the UK Army's Royal Gurkha Rifles conducted intensive counter-terrorism training in semi-urban terrain under a UN mandate. The exercise featured joint tactical drills, heliborne operations, room intervention, cordon and search techniques, and operational planning. The closing ceremony included cultural performances, equipment displays, showcasing India's indigenous defense systems and recognition of outstanding soldiers, strengthening bilateral defense ties and their commitment to global peace. And very quickly, let's give you updates on the ongoing match between India and South Africa. Cricket, India has consolidated their position against South Africa in the first ODI at the JSCA International Stadium in Ranchi, while the partnership between Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli flourished past the 100-run mark after Yashasvi Jaiswal fell short for 18 runs. South Africa finally found a breakthrough, dismissing Sharma for 57. Following Sharma's departure, Virat Kohli continued his aggressive form, registering his 52nd century. He is currently joined by KL Rahul at the crease. The score has progressed to approximately 233 for 4 around, after 38 overs, with India looking set for a formidable total despite losing their openers. Also, Indian opener Rohit Sharma added one more record to his kitty in the ongoing match against South Africa in his explosive knock of 57 runs. The former Indian captain broke Shahid Afridi's record for most sixes in one-day internationals. The Indian batter now has 352 maximums in just 270 innings, one more than Shahid Afridi, the Pakistani cricketer, who ended at 351 sixes after 369 innings. And 30th November marks the birth anniversary of Indian physicist pioneer Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose, a man whose quiet genius lit up the invisible waves of radio and the silent pulse of plants. Born on this day in 1858, Bose bridged worlds no one dared to connect before. DD India's Sujata Lochab filed this report on India's father of radio science. Jagadish Chandra Bose was one of the earliest modern Indian scientists, and his work brought together physics, biology and deep nationalism in a very quiet, powerful way. Jagadish Chandra Bose was born on 30th November 1858 in Myrmanching, now in Bangladesh, then part of the Bengal Presidency. His father, Bhagwan Chandra Bose, encouraged him to study in a Bengali medium school first so that he stayed rooted to his culture and language. Bose later studied in Kolkata, completed his BSc from St. Xavier's College, and then went to London and Cambridge to study natural sciences. In the 1890s, Bose carried out pioneering experiments on radio and microwave waves, demonstrating wireless transmission of signals over distance well before wireless became commercial. He was the first person to use semiconductor junctions as radio detectors, an approach recognized today as an early step towards modern solid-state electronics. For his work on wireless transmission, the University of London awarded him a Doctor of Science degree in 1896. Later, the global engineering body IEEE honored him as the father of radio and wireless communication. But Bose didn't stop at physics. He turned to living beings, especially plants, to ask whether life is unified across all organisms. He invented a device called the crescograph, which could measure tiny movements and growth in plants, things invisible to the naked eye. Through experiments that measured tiny electrical and mechanical responses, he showed that plants respond to stimuli like light, heat, chemicals, and injury, and that these responses have an electrical basis.
Because of this pioneering work, he is often credited with showing that plants also have a kind of life response, changing how humans looked at the plant world. On his 60th birthday, 30th November 1917, Bose founded the Bose Institute in Kolkata, describing it as a place for advancing science and spreading knowledge. Bose was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society in London, one of the highest honours in the world of science, making him one of the first Indians to enter that reputed circle. Government science agencies describe him as the founder of modern scientific research in India, noting that he laid the foundations of experimental science in the country. Today, the Government of India continues to celebrate Bose's work in radio science and plant physiology, and institutions under the Department of Science and Technology carry his name forward for new generations of scientists.
So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.